To the 16th floor, I just need a little more. Rocking out to Lorna Shore, making that thing swing back and forth. Look at us, we're out of sorts. Thank God we're not keeping score. Losing our mind to countable chords, making that thing swing back and forth.
Yo, Descendant, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a fantastic time. And Enzo is actually really good now. Well, I say good, he's always been good. He's just so much better now because of all these shield mods. We have updated our Enzo build, and I'd like to share it with you guys in this video. I kind of have this obsession now with shield builds, and I'm trying to make a shield build like viable on pretty much every single character that has a way to recover shields. So if you guys are interested in all of that stuff, stay tuned to the channel by subscribing. It helps me out so much, and it keeps you guys up to date on everything TFD that we are covering on the channel. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into the Enzo build. Now, as always, I have multiple different variants of the build. I'm going to share with you guys my favorite version, how I do it. Then I'm also going to give you two other options, but they all are for the same thing. Basically just going in there, doing bossing, because that's mainly what Enzo is used for. We aren't making any mobbing builds with Enzo. We have focused him fully on bossing, and with the new overwhelming shield, he's going to be regenning his shield like crazy. You can have between 18 to 28k shield depending on which build of mine you guys actually use. I personally like to use the 18k shield version because of the other mods and the quality of life it brings with duration and cooldown. So my main goal with this Enzo build was to be able to get as much cooldown and duration so we can have up our perfect support most of the time. As you can see, we have gotten this down to a 22-second cooldown, as well as an 11.2-second duration. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is we have a negative skill power modifier on the drone, the top damage. So when your drone does the little shots, you can see it's like attached to your head. You're not going to actually get the drone doing any damage. But personally, the drone really doesn't do that much damage, even if you build it for full skill power. So I thought I'm just going to focus on buffing myself as well as the group, because this buff does go towards the group. And with this buff up, everybody gets firearm attack increased by 20%. You get firearm crit hit rate increased by 20%, as well as regenerating bullets all the time. So you pretty much always have bullets when you have an Enzo around, especially the way we have our setup, because this has a very small downtime, especially when you are in the fight. You can see 22 seconds and then 11 seconds. I actually have a little document over here. Sorry for the flashback, but if you have a look over here at the cooldowns and durations and everything, so the fourth ability's cooldown is 22 seconds. The duration is 11.2 seconds. So that gives us a downtime of 10.8 seconds. So that means that after activating the ability, you've got 10.8 seconds before you can use it again. And because of how slow animations and stuff are, the full duration, including the animations of the 4, is actually almost 15 seconds. So the actual downtime of the 4 on the way I have it set up is only 7.2 seconds. So say about 7 seconds just to round it out. And that's not a very long time, especially when you are in a Colossus fight. This is if you are shooting and reloading and doing stuff back to back, you know, like you're sitting in the lab and you just have no interruptions at all. So in a real fight, that's pretty much never going to happen, because you're going to have to throw in a shield cast in between there, and the shield cast alone with animations is about 3 to 4 seconds. So if you go ahead and hit your shield, then you've pretty much already waited out those 7 seconds before it's up. So pretty much every single magazine with your Enduring Legacy, you could go ahead and have this buff up if you wait those 7.2 seconds in between, which most of the time if you are fighting the Deathstalker, you'll have to be going to res somebody, or you'll be doing something, because there's always something to do in these fights. So that 7.26 seconds downtime actually becomes like almost nothing. You pretty much have this thing up all the time, especially when you are going into like your DPS phase, when you are shooting out with your Enduring Legacy. And the way we have our Enduring Legacy set up, we have it set up with SPS, Sharp Precision Shot. So you're going to hold it down for as long as you can. If you hold it down without any interruptions, emptying out the mag is going to be 12.76 seconds. And as we can see from the duration there, it's 11.2 seconds. So pretty much the whole magazine of the Enduring Legacy, we have it up for we have the buff of the 4th ability up during our whole clip of the Enduring Legacy. So everything just works out so nice with this build. And the way we have this set up with maximized conservation, we can freely spam our skills whenever we need them and will never be in risk of running out of MP. That's why personally I like this version so much. Let me show you guys the other version just real quick before we get into it. I will have timestamps, so sorry for jumping back and forth. Now this build is inspired by Banana from my chat, so shout out to you, Mr. Banana. Adept Banana, you know who you are. So thank you so much for sharing with me your Enzo build. And the way he runs it is it actually runs Multitalented, and as you can see there, when using a Dimension active skill, your cooldowns are reduced by 20.5%. And since you do have both cooldown mods anyway, you have MP conversion conversion and nimble fingers. The cooldown kind of stacks on top of the cooldown you have, so your cooldown actually becomes pretty much insane, and you can have up your 4 all the time. As long as you press your shield, so you get the buff from Multitalented before you actually press your 4, you'll have this up permanently. This will come off cooldown as the duration is running out, so literally will have a 100% uptime. But then the problem with this is you won't actually have the maximized conservation like I do have on my build, so it's very MP hungry, especially since we are running other stuff here to boost up the shields and stuff. But you can edit this around and actually make that work. I just want to let you guys know that tech is there, the Multitalented tech. You can get full uptime on this. You just have to manage how to actually get MP. I was thinking about maybe dropping shot focus and changing out stim accelerant for some other stuff. Battle stamina is a good choice there for a little bit of duration boost to make it last a little bit longer. So there's so many ways to make this work. That's why I just want to share with you guys and let you know all this information before we get into it. So now let's finally go have a look at my build, and I'll show you guys how I have mine set up perfectly. So first up, we have supply firearm enhancement. And I know a lot of people might struggle to get this mod. Just disclaimer, you do not need this mod, but it is a massive DPS boost when you eventually do pick this mod up, as it turns your 1 into a powerhouse of a weapons platform. It gives you 15% weak point damage increase, and it also gives you 29% firearm crit hit rate. That is a massive amount. So you get 30% crit hit rate on your weapons, as well as the 15% weak point damage. And this is for everybody, because all you have to do is run over the little supply firearm, and then everybody gets it in the party. But this mod purely just provides you with a ton of weapon damage. So if you don't have it or you're struggling to get it, join my Discord as well. We have people doing Enzo runs and trying to go get them together. If you do it in a group, it's a better chance you'll actually receive it, because there's multiple Enzos and you have more keys, especially if you guys are running low on vault keys. Help each other out, hop in the Discord and hook each other up with the supply firearm enhancement. Very good mod. It just adds damage. So without this, you'll still be super tanky with this build. The only thing you'll be losing out on is the damage that you will be gaining from that. So you can add that on later. That's why I'm just letting you guys know. Don't worry about that. You do not need that. But the other mods on here, you pretty much need. And then shot focus, again, you do not need it, but it does add a little bit of firearm damage. So all of that is just added benefits. And we're just going to focus on trying to juice ourselves up and our gun as well. And then we move over to my favorite one, the maximized conservation. Again, a negative skill power modifier, but we do get the skill cost reduction of 35%. Then as you can see, it brings our ult down from a whopping 60 MP down to 38, as well as our ammo box down from 30 to 19. And these two you'll pretty much be casting in tandem every single time, because once you shoot out your full magazine on your During Legacy, the duration of this is going to run out. You're going to reload, then you're going to animation cancel with the supply firearm enhancer. So you're going to be using these pretty much every like 15 seconds. You're going to be using these two. So that's going to be 38 plus another 19 MP. So that's going to be about 60 MP that you need every 15 seconds or so to get both of your buffs down. Whereas if you didn't have maximized conservation, that would be 60 plus 30. So it'd be a whopping 90 MP that you would need every 15 seconds, and you would really quickly run out of MP. As you see, we only have 239 MP. So after 2 rotations, so like 2 magazines on your During Legacy, you would basically be out of MP if you haven't killed any mobs or anything around in the map. Now, having this is not going to make you completely immune to the MP problems. You might still come across MP problems, so you want to keep your eye out on any mobs in the arena, especially when you are fighting the boss. Kill the mobs, because the mobs actually do quite a bit of damage to your group. So make sure every now and then, if you look like you are running low on MP, go ahead and kill a mob and you should regen your MP just fine. And then your shield costs 25 MP as well to activate this, and this gives you a massive amount of shield recovery, because as you press it, the initial shield recovery is 25% of your shield. That's going to be 25% of 18k shield in my instance, which equals out to 4,500 shields. That's a massive amount of shields on the initial press. And then you're going to generate 6% of your maximum shield, which equals out to 1080 every second for the next 9 seconds. So you're pretty much invincible with your shield run over there. If you ever feel like you're in danger, hit that. It's going to give you that massive big boost of shield, and then it's going to regen your shield for the next 9 seconds with the way we have it set up. So very strong. That's why maximize conservation, very important, so you can actually get to spam all your skills and not run out of MP. And then we move over to increase HP. This is just flat HP, and we have stim accelerant with a massive flat HP as well. Now I do know this has a little bit of negative MP over there, but we do combat that with the maximized conservation, so don't worry about that. And then we're going to take all of this MP from both of those mods, and we're going to equip overwhelming shield, which fixes your MP at 1 but increases your max shield by 26.8% of your max HP. And this does equal out to a massive boost, whereas instead of putting this on and just putting another shield mod on, you won't get the same results, not even close to the 18k. And this is what makes the Enzo build and mostly all the shield builds so strong with this mod right now, because it's scaling so so much better than what I used to scale in the past. So technically you're going to be stacking HP and you're returning that HP over into shields. No matter how you set up your modules as well as your components, you'll never get more shield by just using flat shield as what you would by stacking HP and then converting that with overwhelming shield. That's such a massive difference, as you guys will see with all of the Enzo builds, and pretty soon I'm going to do an Ajax build getting us probably up to like 200k shield. And then moving on, we just have an increased shield of, yeah, this also does give you a big chunk because it takes all of the shield that you have converted with the HP and it gives you a big chunk of that. This pretty much doubles your shield. I mean, it gives you 150%, so that's double and some that it's giving you a lot of shield from getting maximized shield. But if you don't have overwhelming shield and all this HP, then this is actually not going to be that valuable. That's why it's very important to run all these mods in conjunction, the 2 HP mods with overwhelming shield, and then we come up to maximize duration. The reason we chose this over the blue duration mod is we get a little bit more duration. We do get the negative skill power modifier, but we already have so much negative skill power. This is going to be 0 no matter what we do, so we might as well just fully commit to this with the negative skill power modifier. As we said before, it doesn't really do much damage. We're just going to be focusing on boosting our gun damage, and with that we gain about another second or so of duration versus the actual blue mod, so that's why we choose to run the maximized duration. And then lastly, we have our 2 cooldown mods. We are running nimble fingers, just flat cooldown. We have MP conversion, which is a massive cooldown booster over there. It does give you a negative MP, but like I said before, we have offset that with the maximized conservation to help with MP problems. And then also we are running focus on singular. I almost forgot. The only reason we're running this is for the 6% cooldown. Now you might think that it would be better to actually put a duration mod there, but let me show you guys. Let's go have a look at the blue duration mod. So with the focus on singular, let's have a look. So our ultimate is now at a 22-second cooldown and 11.2-second duration. So by taking that off, our cooldown goes from 22 seconds all the way up to 27.5. Duration hasn't moved yet, so just keep that in mind. That is an increase of 5.5 seconds. So let's go ahead and try the extension and see how much that increases it by. So have a look at duration. It is 11.2. So for the duration to be better, this would have to give us 5.5 seconds extra. So this is not at least 16.7 seconds of duration, then it's actually going to be a less valuable. So there we go. Smack it in. Let's have a look. We only go up to 13.9 seconds. That's only like a 2.7 or something second increase in duration. So we go back to focus on singular. We gain much more value out of that by gaining all of that cooldown. I know it's weird because this is only like a tiny little bit of cooldown, 6.1%, but like I said to you guys before, with the other build using the Multitalented, the cooldown kind of gets ridiculous. So that 6.1% cooldown is going to be much more valuable than the actual 36% duration that we'll be gaining on that over there. Plus it also goes off of like the base value of this. The cooldown of here is 90 seconds, so it's a much larger value compared to the duration only being a 7.5 second duration there. So if you think about that, 36% of 7.5 seconds versus the 6% of 90 seconds is quite a big number over there. So that's why it is better to just run with the focus on singular. You don't need to level it up at all because we were trying to offset the negative with this, but it actually doesn't offset the negative. So you can have this at level 0 and it can actually be any focus mod. It doesn't have to be focused on singular. We're just doing it for that little bit of cooldown reduction. And then what you could also do is if you don't care about that 5 seconds, you would be losing out on 5 seconds of your ultimate technically because you'd have to wait 5 seconds more for it to come up. But if you want to be more group orientated, you could drop this focus on singular and pick up amplification control. It will give you a little bit of increased range and max shield. So we go ahead and smack that on. Now 18k now goes up to 20k shield, and then that range is actually going to affect your force, so it's going to hit more people in a wider area. So if you want to be a little bit more group orientated, you'll have your buff up less, but the whole group is going to always get it. So that's up to you. I like to be selfish with my one and just put it on focus on singular for the massive cooldown and reduction and everything that it's going to provide with us. Because 5.5 seconds is a long time for me, especially when I'm going out there doing crazy stuff anyway, and it just helps out with all the other cooldowns as well as your shield and everything. So you can put your shield on to res everybody. I think it's a little bit more value to actually have your shield up and res people than what it is to get a little bit extra range on that, but totally up to you. If you want that little bit of extra shield for the comfiness and then the max range to hit everybody in the group, go ahead and switch that out. So that is the build, how I like to set it up. I've tried so many different variants with both of these. I'm going to share with you guys now, but essentially this is the best way I have found to set it up. You end up with 18k shield, and then you guys saw the durations and cooldowns and everything. Another important thing before we hop on to the other builds is the reactor for this. It doesn't matter which reactor mounting you have or what skill boost ratio it is, because like I said, we're focusing purely on the substat, but you do want to get as much duration and cooldown as you can get. Now I recently got this as an upgrade. We have purple skill duration up and we have gold cooldown. My one before this actually used to be this one right here with blue cooldown and gold duration up. Now it is a non-attribute one, so it was actually boosting my drone a little bit, but like I said, we're just focusing fully on boosting the gun damage. So most important thing, skill cooldown, skill duration up as much as you can get. Doesn't matter about the damage roll at all. If we move over to our components, we are using the new invader set. This is from the new Deathstalker boss. If you don't have this yet, the only thing you want to worry about on your component Components is going to be to get as much max HP on the top roll as possible. As you can see for the sensor, you want to get max HP and then HP as your second line. So this is the only piece where you can actually get 2 HP rolls on at the same time. And also try and get yourself the max HP roll of 646 instead of the lower roll, which is the 484. But you don't lose too much by actually switching over to a 646 one. As you guys can see, we have 18.1k shields. We go ahead and switch that. Now we're at 18.8k shields. So you get 700 shield more. But if you are stacking other shield mods and stuff on the other two builds, the more HP is going to obviously like double dip on itself and give you more HP and shields in the long run. But the most important thing on the sensor is to get max MP and MP recovery in combat as much as you can while still getting the HP roll on the top. So you can either go with a random sensor or you can go with, I found it on the Polar Knight sensor, and I believe the sensor from the Infernal Fortress or the Fire Turtle, whatever he's called, he actually drops with 646 HP on the top. So you could go farm him and try and get yourself a max MP recover from him. But just anything you have with HP on the top line and MP on the bottom line, I think max MP would actually be more important than the MP recovery. So if you are trying to like build this up and you're new and you're trying to get your components and stuff farmed up, try and get yourself a max MP roll above the MP recovery. I think that's a little bit more important, because if you lose that MP, you can see our MP pool is really small. We're going to definitely have to change around some mods if we can't get MP on the sensor, as like one skill combination, like I explained to you guys before, is costing you 60 MP. So if you have less than, you know, 230, if we take away this 150 over there, that's going to put us down to like 170 something MP. So you're going to have like enough to do 2, maybe 3 casts. Yeah, that 120 plus that. So you're going to be struggling with MP if you don't have MP on your sensor. Most important, get MP. Very important. HP as well. If we come down to our memory, most important thing is to get the HP on the top line, and we have defense over there. That defense will make your shields take a little bit less damage. So it is very nice to get that. You don't need it, but the most important thing here is the MP recovery modifier. And make sure you try and pick that up. And then lastly, we have the processor with max HP on the top line. Again, most important thing. And we do have max shield, and you can also get shield regen, which I think might actually be better than that toxic resistance. But since we are mainly fighting the Deathstalker these days, that toxic res won't hurt you. The max shield does help you quite a bit. So getting the HP on the top and the max shield on the bottom, kind of double dipping into each other again, and that's why we have so much shield. So that's it for the components and the reactor. Now let's have a look at the Enduring Legacy. This is how we have it set up. We have basic build over here pretty much. I use this on all of my characters. We have rifle reinforcements, action reaction just for massive firearm attack boost. Then we have both of our crit mods, better insight and better concentration. And then we have some more crit damage over here with concentration priority. There's a massive amount of crit damage, and we're pretty much at 100% crit rate. Well, just about. I haven't actually checked the actual number with our buffs from Enzo and our drone and everything. We're pretty close to 100%, I would assume. But yeah, we have a ton of damage coming out of this Enduring Legacy. We have fire enhancement, that is just to help proc the Enduring Legacy's unique effect. And then we have weak point sight for the weak point damage, fire rate up. Then we have expand weapon charge, just brings our magazine size up to 171 rounds, which is massive, especially when we have all of that buff, because the way that the supply enhancement works on Enzo is it counts for your whole magazine. That's why you walk over it once, and then the whole mag of the Enduring Legacy is going to get all of that damage boost over there from the Enzo. And then we have sharp precision shot. Now you could switch this out for mental focus. I think damage wise, mental focus over like a longer fight is going to give you more damage, but sharp precision shot is just going to like spool up the gun a lot faster. And this is what I've done all my calculations off with the cooldowns and stuff that I showed you guys on that sheet before, was using SPS, because it like spools up and your fire rate increases, and we can get all of the bullets out much faster, and then we can go ahead and reload and then get all of our buffs up on Enzo again, and we can go out and just deliver everything much faster. Now the bad thing about sharp precision shot is if you get interrupted by like ads or something, or if you have to stop shooting for whatever reason, you do lose quite a bit of damage. That's why mental focus is a little bit easier to maintain, but this has also got a downside. It's 2 seconds over there, so basically you have 2 seconds to quickly shoot before you lose the buff. It is a little bit easier because you can stop shooting for a second and then roll to like get to a different position, and then just start shooting at the ground or the air or whatever, and it will maintain the buff for you. Whereas sharp precision shot, as soon as you stop shooting, so if you take your finger off of the click or the trigger or whatever it is, then you will lose the buff completely. So that's the only downside to it. But overall, I just prefer how sharp precision shot feels. So I can get out my damage in the small little windows that we have of damage opportunities, mostly over versing like, sustainable long damage over there, because we just like to buff it up and then reload the mag and unload the mag and just keep going like that. So personally, this is the way I like to do it. Totally up to you if you want to switch that out. So that is how I like to run my Enzo. So if you guys like what you see, then that's going to be the best way for you to run Enzo. But if you want to see the other two builds, we'll quickly just cover those. The components and the gun and everything is going to stay the same. This is the boy with a dream. This is from Adap Banana in my chat, so shout out once again to you, sir. The multi-talented version. Now with this, you can have permanent uptime on your perfect support if you have the MP to actually combat this. So maybe we want to edit this around a little bit and change it up. Maybe switch out shot focus for some kind of an MP, because with the damage that we lose from this, we might make up for the damage on having this up all the time. But we definitely have to figure out some way with MP, because I was trying this before and the MP cost is just too much for me to actually sustain all this. After about 2 or 3 reloads and then getting all of the stuff to work together, you're pretty much out of MP, even after 2, because what you're going to be doing is going to be reload animation canceling with your shield over here, and then that's obviously going to be make you reload faster, but you have to hit the shield before you hit the 4. So you want to shoot out your whole magazine, animation cancel the reload with the shield boost over here, and then right afterwards you hit that thing and you go straight back into shooting again. And if you do that back to back, you're going to be unloading massive amounts of damage, but you are going to be running out of MP after about 2 to 3 cycles, unless you know, stop between every 2 rounds and go kill some ads and pick up some MP. So we might have to revisit this and change it around a bit, but with this way we have it set up there, we have 20k shield, and we obviously have permanent uptime on the 4 thanks to Multitalented. So that is definitely a way you could run it if you want it. You can change this up and customize it, like I said, get some more MP management by dropping some stuff. Definitely will visit this later on and see if we can actually get this to work, because I do like the idea of Multitalented and having this up all the time. And then the last one we have over here, this build is for everybody that's lazy out there. Have a look at this, boys. We have 28.9, almost 29k shield, so we're very close to 30k shield. And if you change up this, you might be even closer. Let's go ahead and try that sensor on real quick. 29.9. So yeah, if you have the max HP rolls on all of your components, you'll get up to just about 30k shields. So you will be virtually indestructible with about 30k shields. Even the way we have this set up with 28.9k shields, it's a massive amount of shields. And Enzo doesn't have a way to passively regen his shields besides activating this. So your shield's always going to get, you know, chunked down when you get hit. But obviously if you have 28k shields, it can take a long time before you have to go ahead and actually activate, you know, your shield drone over there. So you pretty much save a lot of MP by not having to activate that. But then one press of this shield, because it's going to be 25% initially, that's going to be 7,000 shield that you will gain back initially. That's like more than what some people have as full health builds. So yeah, building it this way, you will pretty much never die if you press your shield button once or twice during the boss fight. So if you really want to be super lazy, this is the way you can do it. The components and everything is set up exactly the same. The only changes we made is we got HP conversion and we have amplification control for more shield and that little bit of range boost. And then obviously we do have conservation as well, but pretty much everything else stayed the same. Just this over here with the maximum shield boost and the maximum HP. I know it does give you a little bit of HP reduction, so technically you'll be losing a little bit of shield, but with all the combos of the shields, this actually ended up being the most amount of shield you could gain. And as well with the amplification control, that gives you a little bit of range more, so you can actually hit more people, and it gives you a massive amount of shield as well. I have taken all of these builds into fights multiple times to test them out, and the damage is very close, but this does edge out a little bit more for me because I have the shot focus on there, and the way I have it set up, I can spare my skills. This is for me actually the comfiest way to play Enzo. We only have 18k shields. I say only, but that's still a massive amount of shields, but we have everything on such a small cooldown. We have shot focus. It just feels really good, and this is how I personally like to play Enzo. So let me know down below in the comments which one of these builds you guys like the most, the way I play it, the way that Mr. Banana plays it, or the way that we have it set up over here for ultimate laziness and 30k shields over there just chilling, face tanking everything, being the super res bot that everybody desires to be. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful and you liked it. If you did, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. It helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people in the next video as well as the live streams. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying